What's going on, boys and girls? We're going to do a quick comfort food recipe. Not really comfort food. It's actually kind of healthy. We're going to make a vegetable beef soup, we're going to be using some beef in there, but we're also going to be using some ground deer meat in there as well, too. So I'm not going to do all this. I'm going to do all this in one video, but it's probably going to take me, several hours to do it. But you'll see it in all on one video. So let's look at the ingredients. All right, guys, we got a lot of stuff to work with. Like I was telling you, we got some ground deer right here. Somebody gave me this last year. Sometimes we got some ribeye steaks here. That's about 2 pounds of meat right there. Again, look at the price of that. I only paid $7.04 for it. I don't spend over $10 for steaks, guys. I just buy when they're starting to change. Of course, we're gonna use some potatoes in there. I'm not gonna be using all of this stuff. I'm just taking the bags out to kind of show you what's going to go in there. Going to use some corn, some carrots, some celery, some Kentucky Wonder beans. We need some beef broth, but I've only got some of this stuff right here, so we're going to use that. Of course, I said the potatoes. Going to use a little bit of this red wine, some Worcestershire sauce, some petite diced tomatoes. Going to use a little bit of tomato paste, some oregano, and of course our Tony Chachere's. You got to use the Tony Chachere's. Now, first thing that we're going to do first and foremost is we're going to brown this right here, brown the beef and brown the ribeye steak, and because they're going to take the longest to cook, so we're going to have to cook those in our broth first before we do anything else. Oh, and one thing I left out are the onions. And yeah, I got two different kinds here. And we got one is just the sweet onion, and then one of them is just a regular yellow onion. So you can argue about the taste of them, but it's still going to give you real good flavor. All right, two other things that I forgot too. We're going to put some garlic in there, guys, and we're going to use some of this better than bouillon. This is like a roasted garlic bouillon base. It's just going to give it a little bit more flavor. If you don't have this right here, this bouillon base, you don't really need it. I mean, well, you need it. It's going to make a really good recipe. It's going to make a really good tasting soup. But again, if that's something you have to run out and get, the soup is still going to be good regardless. Alrighty, we're going to brown our deer meat here. And again, I've never used deer in here before. I know you do have to cook it a little bit longer than you do other types of meat. And plus, it doesn't have a whole lot of fat in there. So we're going to chop that up and just kind of brown it. And because we're going to be cooking the soup for a longer time, that's going to help to tenderize it. All right, that's starting to brown up real good here. And again, we just want to brown it until the pink is gone, guys. And then we're just going to put that over in a bowl. Just try to chop up some of the pieces real finely. Well, not finely. I mean, you don't want them to be too fine. You want to have some bulk to it when you're eating it. But you want them to be about that size like that. So that's pretty good. Again, this is not rocket science, guys. This is just cooking. I mean, the way you're putting it together is going to be rocket science, but because it's going to taste good. It's going to look like a scientist put it together. All right, and once it's nice and brown, we're going to empty this out, and we're going to put our ribeye in there. Try to, if you can, the oil that I was using in here was avocado oil, guys. Try to keep a little bit of it in there, if you can. But if not, we can add some more avocado oil to that. So, and again, that deer meat had been in the freezer for a little while, so it was partially thawed, but not completely. Now we're going to do our beef. Alrighty, we got our pan heated up. We're going to take our two ribeye steaks here, and they are partially frozen too, guys. But we're just going to put them in for about maybe 2 minutes a piece. We just want them to brown pretty much. So we're going to go about 2 minutes on that side. We're going to start the fan here. Alrighty, that's been about 2 minutes. So we're gonna flip it, see if they're brown. Oh yeah, they're nice and brown. Alright, we're gonna go another 2 minutes here. And then we're gonna chop these up, guys, and then we're gonna start to cook them a little bit, slow cook them. Alrighty, that's nice and brown now. We're going to remove that and we're going to cut it up. All right, we're going to let that cook. And I don't have this sitting on the counter, guys, just so you know. I got it sitting on one of those things that keeps your counter from burning. But we're going to, let me see if I can find a fork here. Because it is kind of hot, so we want to just kind of, just take some of the pieces here, guys. Just kind of cut them here into strips. I see that's really, see, this is a really good, this would be a good eating steak, and it's probably, look at it how it's cooked. It's probably cooked where we can eat it. You know what I mean? Putting it in a doggone soup. Putting it in a doggone soup. I want to eat this steak, y'all. I want me a piece of it now. Oh yeah, that's the tender part. So we're not going to go through all that, but you see, you get the gist of what I'm doing. All right, now once we get it cut into little strips like that right there, we're going to take the individual strips and we're just going to kind of cut them into little bite-sized chunks like this. And that's where you can handle it now. So we're going to do several of them like that. Again, I'm not going to go through the whole thing because I don't want to bore you guys. All right, we got all the pieces cut here. And we're going to take this, put it back into our pan. Again, these are about, you know, 1 inch by 1 inch, maybe 3/4 by 3/4. And we're going to take our deer meat, put it in our pan here. Hope you guys are seeing that okay. Yeah, it looks like you are. All right, and then we're going to put this back on the heat. All right, now we're going to take some red wine, and this right here is just, this is actually a gift that someone gave me. This is Katina Malbec. It's a red wine that's used for beef and things like that. We're going to take about 3/4 to 1/2 cup of this wine. And again, you're just using it for flavor, guys. And we're going to cook that off until this is nice and almost saucy. We're going to let that cook off, and it's just going to give it a really good flavor. I know sometimes you'll put this, when you're making oxtail stew, you put that wine in there. That wine really gives it a special flavor. And then when you're done making your meal, you got the other part of the bottle to finish off. You know what I mean? I'm just joking. I don't drink a lot of wine. Now, if it was beer, that's a different story. Alrighty, now at this point in time, we can go ahead and add us some spices to this. Add a little bit of Tony Chachere's, and we're probably going to have to add more too, guys. Alrighty, like I said, probably going to have to. See, it's already starting to thicken up. Probably going to have to add some more when you add it to the fluid. This is our oregano here. That was about a tablespoonful. Just kind of mix it in here. And see, it's not tender enough for me, but it has reduced enough where we can add it to our other pot here. Alrighty, now that is that's about 6 cups of beef broth there, made with the bouillon. We're going to add that to it, and we're just going to let that simmer until it gets tender. Now, I got to go back to work, so I'm going to let this cook till I get ready to go back to work, and then I'll probably finish doing this when I get home tonight. But it'll be done before tonight. I don't know if we'll eat any of it for supper tonight, but it will be done before tonight. The rest of it's easy, though, guys. We're just going to let that simmer. Our meat has been cooking for probably about 1.5 hours. I came home from work and started cooking on it again. And this, heck, it's probably been right at 2 hours. So we're going to put some of our bedded in bouillon, about a tablespoonful. Gonna work that in. This is just going to give it some extra flavor here. And we're just going to stir it around. Sorry, I was using that metal spoon. Metal on metal. I know how folks fuss. Metal, my mama used to talk about it. Boy, you need to get you a wooden spoon. I got a wooden spoon. Okay. So we're going to let that dissolve a little bit. Okay, now we're going to get us some tomato paste. We're going to need about 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. Again, I'm just getting it off now. I'm not going to stir it with the metal spoon, y'all. So no tripping. All right, we're going to stir that in. We'll come back once it's all stirred in. All right, once that's been mixed in for about a minute or so, you're going to add a little bit of garlic. Now, we already put some garlic in there, so we're just going to put just another couple of heaping tablespoons of garlic in there. Garlic's a really good flavor, guys. You know, it's just a really good spice. It's good for lowering your blood pressure. Taste is good. Probably ain't good for the breath, but you know, this is a fairly healthy soup here. Now we're going to add our can of petite diced tomatoes. We want to put the whole can in there. Juice and all. Put all of that in there. We're going to mix that around just a little bit here. Starting to get some body now. Okay. Now we're going to add a little bit of Worcestershire sauce. Let me shake that up here. Just to kind of give it that tang. Now also you can add a little bit of vinegar too, guys. That was about a tablespoonful right there. You can add a little bit of vinegar to here too. And just kind of taste it as you go along. All right, now we're going to start adding our vegetables. And I've already cut up our vegetables, so we're going to add some celery. And we got to do something to the onions first. I just thought about it. Add our celery in there. We're going to add our corn in there. Going to bring all this up to a boil. Going to add our green beans. Going to add our carrots. And all of those are kind of cut to the same size. And we're going to add our potatoes. And I'm going to have to, I had my potatoes soaking in water so they wouldn't turn brown on me. So give me a second here. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to make this a long video. Add our potatoes to it. And all those are cut to about the same size. Now with our onions, we could add our onions directly to this, guys. But what we're going to do is we're going to saute those onions first. Move this pot out of the way. All right, we're going to saute our onions here. Just so they'll have a different flavor here. And we want to saute these until they're glistening. And again, this is not really going to affect the way that the soup is made. It's something about these onions being sauteed when they go in there. Makes it taste a little bit better. Alright, we're going to come back when they're nice and the right color. Alrighty, when they start getting a brown color like that, guys, they're almost done. You want them browning, but you don't want them burnt. So you want them to be about this color right here. That smell is just awesome as far as onions are concerned. And now we're going to go ahead and turn that off, and we're going to add these to the soup mixture here, and it should be getting close to boiling. Oh yeah, it's starting to boil a little bit. So we're going to add our onions in there. And again, that just gives the onions a different texture. They look different. Get all that you can out of there. Uh-oh. Did we lose it? No. All right. And then we're going to stir that in. I think we got everything in there, guys. I think we got everything in there. We're going to let this come to a boil. We're going to simmer it for about an hour or so. And then, heck, it's 8:30 now, so by the time I get ready to go to bed, they'll be done. I'm going to bring it up to a boil and we're going to see how it's going to go. All right, bring it up to a boil like that. Let's give it a little bit of a stir. And then we're going to give this thing about an hour, y'all. I'm going to put it down to about simmer. And then come check on it occasionally. Give it a stir so it doesn't stick to the bottom. And then we should have soup in an hour. All right, guys, it's been about an hour. We're going to check it out. See if everything looks done. It looks done. Well, you can tell is to see if the potatoes will. Oh, yeah, the potatoes are doing good. Also, the carrots, you want to see if they'll kind of mash up. They're mashing up. Now we got to check the flavor. All right, guys, we tasted it, and it was delicious. It didn't need anything in it. Thought for sure we were going to have to add some salt, but you know, when you use tomato paste and you use canned tomatoes, that stuff kind of has its own salt in it. So that came out good. This will be something we can eat on these cold, wintry days here in Alabama, and we're going to enjoy this. And you guys have a good time, and thanks for watching the video, and peace.